But I never smelled a real cooch before. I wanted to see what I've been missing. It smells like wet cat food. Oh, God!
Oh, it stinks. Nice and good.
Hello, friends. Welcome back. Trace Amounts of Science. Today, we're back with Funky P Beard. Funky P Beard. This is part number 3. I'm sure it's going to go really well. You're going to love it. I got told it gets a little dirty, but I don't know. Couldn't be any worse than the last parts, even though I was told it was worse than the last parts. If you want to watch the last parts, links are in the description. And if not, well, then we'll get on the road. Wiggle Worm, Funky P backstory, part number 3. That's right, what happened? Your creepy uncle played some Wiggle Worm with you in the bathtub? That explains everything? I'm jumping straight to a resounding trigger warning with this installment. I can't give you specifics because that would spoil a few unpleasant surprises. Just know this story is gross. Grosser than anything that happened in the Funky P saga, and the grossness has nothing to do with Maury's member. Enjoy. I mean, could it be worse than some of the things that happened in the Chris Trucker saga? We've seen down to the depths. I don't know. I'll have to make a judgment call as to whether it's like Patreon only or not. But OP does use really indirect language when referring to those things, so I think we can get away with it. But you should subscribe on the Patreon anyways. Hop on YouTube memberships if you haven't. It really does help to keep the channel going. Super serious for real. All right. Part 5, Bean Sprouts. Oh, they're so good, and so good for you. Something tells me I'm gonna hate them after this, though. Several weeks passed before Sage was ready to invite Athena to a game night. He'd already introduced her to Snorlax, and that had gone well enough, but there remained a number of potentially offensive wild cards to contend with once the Neckbeards were officially on the loose. Maury and Sage had both sternly and firmly insisted that Pongo take a frickin' shower before Athena's Shadowrun debut. Pongo swore up and down that he would, and he assured the principal and vice principal that he'd been to beer goggles with Funky several nights a week, practicing talking to females. I find it interesting that he's left out any success stories with said females. You think he's gonna actually take a shower? Cause I definitely don't.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
So the blob arrived early, beating Snorlax, Sage, and Athena to the game night, and his proprietary blend of durian, cumin, and infected toe jam followed him into the townhouse. But he was wearing seemingly new threads. He had on a black muscle shirt that said "Edgelord" in huge block letters across his man hooters. I guess, yeah, lean in, why not? And since Pongo was going sleeveless, nothing was there to cover his armpits and dampen the durian-y stench that clung to his matted pit hair. So he just changed his clothes. He didn't take a shower, clearly. Or he didn't wash his armpits more than just like a cursory scrub. You gotta get in there, son. That's a bacterial colony. His jeans looked clean and rather stiff, but they were clearly several sizes too small, which made Pongo's gut protrude even more than usual. A floppy fold of fat containing a cavernous, malodorous belly button lopped over the tight jeans and poked out from under the edgelord muscle shirt. I'd ask you to describe the smell, but it's probably the infected toe jam. The same bacterial growth in every crevice. Pongo still wore the same smelly, rotten sneakers, and his hair was a matted mess of grease and sweat and scalp cheese. The hell is scalp cheese? That's just dandruff, right? Has the bacterial colony taken over his head? Are we sure he's not like some sort of plant zombie monster now? Test it, light him on fire. If he survives, we'll know he's a plant monster, and if he dies, well, we'll know that he wasn't. Maury immediately began to seethe over the stench. In a rare act of selflessness, Funky spritzed Pongo with a bit of his posh perfume in an attempt to help with damage control. Pongo recoiled in horror. Pongo, what the hell, Funk? I don't want to smell like a girl. Gross. Funky,
You should try it the next time we go to beer goggles. Ladies love it. It's one of the reasons that I get so much tang.
Maury stepped into Funky's airspace and sniffed the bushy beard. Damn, you're brave to do that. I'm sure that's gonna give you some sort of infection. Maury probably don't care. I had infections before. I can afford penicillin. Maury then says, yes, unwashed infected vag. Even your fancy perfume can't mask that aroma. Funky, go wash the stench from your beard. Pongo, please accompany him to the bathroom and try to wash the durian stench from your armpits. Pongo,
what the hell's a durian?
it's what you smell like. And then OP links a no durians allowed sign, which we did see in Thailand. It is a stinky, stinky fruit. Oh, really delicious, though. I tried. Of course I tried it. You know I had to try it. Maury replies, it's a fruit, Pongo. A pungent, foul-smelling one, but a fruit nonetheless. Pongo,
oh, shit. I don't want to smell fruity. Funky, did you spray me with durian perfume?
Funky,
No, I sprayed you with Coco Mademoiselle by Chanel.
Maury, the Chanel was likely an improvement, but you still stink of durian, so I must insist that you go freshen up. Pongo opened his mouth to protest some more, but Maury said, go, scoot, and wash, and for God's sake, smell better. Both neckbeards protested the second time, and Maury said, now! All caps, now you know it's getting really for real. I am happy to see Maury sticking up for Sage, even if it is only to put his junk on his girlfriend's face eventually. It seems like a nice act. It isn't. It's self-serving. During the Funky P saga, I said I couldn't get a read on him. Well, guess what? I think I finally found it. Master Manipulator, largely self-serving, and while he does care, he only really just cares enough, you know? Still a really fascinating character, though. So while the beards were meant to be washing up, Sage cautiously entered Maury's mommy's townhouse with a lovely petite half-Asian and half-Latina woman on his arm. Maury was on his best behavior and was immediately warm and welcoming towards Athena. That's how it starts. That's how it starts. I know your game. Maury, how marvelous that my mage and trusted assistant GM has found such a lovely lady to brighten our game and add to our magic. Athena, I hope so. Sage explained the archetypes to me, so I'm gonna see if being a shaman is a good fit. Maury, splendid! Now, please understand that our game has been a bit of a sausage fest until you arrived. If things get too gross for you, I give you my word that I'll make the boys behave. Interesting. I don't remember OP being extended this offer. Okay. Athena says, I can take it. I played Magic the Gathering in college, and I was usually the only girl in the game shop. I am no stranger to body odor and farts. Well, this goes beyond that. But I guess that's something you have to discover for yourself. Sage laughed nervously, knowing that these games tended to get a whole lot more disgusting than just the familiar malodor of a gaming shop. But he had told Athena most of the horror stories, and she shrugged it off, assuring him that she could hang with a bunch of dudes without getting grossed out. You really feel like you got something to prove, huh? I mean, it's your funeral. Even with the hindsight that most of the people are actually pretty decent people in the group, aside from this degeneracy, if this was presented to me in an elevator pitch, I'd still probably say no. Come on, ReddX, don't you want to poop in buckets? No, I really don't. I'm too old. I don't care no more. Then again, in the story, they are a bunch of kids just trying to figure it out. I don't know, man. I don't think I'd roll with this no matter how much I like my significant other. In truth, Athena was as smitten with Sage as he was with her, and she was determined to be the cool girl and remain unfazed by even the nastiest demonstration of boys being boys. Yeah, totally. Not like other girls at all. But I do think those limits will be tested. Snorlax arrived and greeted everyone cheerfully as always, But as the four socially adept chummers made pleasant small talk in the living room, some sort of commotion erupted in the bathroom. Maury excused himself to go check on the Neckbeards. Funky,
This lunchbox trying to sniff my beard.
Pongo,
But I never smelled a real cooch before. I wanted to see what I've been missing. It smells like wet cat food.
God!
Oh, it stinks. Nice and good.
I need a minute.
1 minute later.
Maury, what you smell on Funky's beard is in no way analogous to the sweet, elegant, earthy, and ever so slightly and delightfully tart flower between a female's legs. Very descriptive, Maury, thank you. To Sage's relief, Athena started giggling hysterically at this exchange, and then she brazenly walked over to Funky, stood on her toes, and took a whiff. She gagged. Athena, oh, for sure, that is not normal. Your girlfriend needs to go to the doctor. Funky,
I don't have a girlfriend.
Athena, well, whoever you're sleeping with needs to go see a doctor. Funky,
I'm sleeping with a bunch of chicks.
Athena, well, then you're probably spreading bacterial vaginosis. She's so blunt. I can't help but admire that. Funky,
Why the hell are you talking to me, woman?
Athena, oh, I'm sorry. I'm Athena. I'm Sage's date? Sage, girlfriend. This is my girlfriend. Yeah, why not? Swoop up that title while you got the chance, right? Put it on lock. That was the first time Sage had called Athena his girlfriend, at least the first time that she knew of. So she ran to him and jumped in his arms, and they had a lovely little romantic exchange. Snorlax was grinning, Maury was looking on like a proud papa, and the beards were grumbling to one another, unable to comprehend this genuine display of affection.
No, trust me, bro, I seen this before. After they start kissing, they take their shirts off.
And
Then they're gonna roll around on the floor, and it looks like they're wrestling, but they're not wrestling.
Maury says, well then, it seems that the team has assembled, and it's time to pregame. We're getting the dice rolling with some fireball shots tonight. You may crack open the harder stuff later, if you are so inclined. Maury led the chummers into the dining room, where 5 neatly arranged triads of fireball whiskey shots awaited. Fireball! Each tincture shall light a fire in your bellies, improve your spell casting, increase your stamina, and lead us all to victory! Chummers, drink! Athena slammed all 3 shots like a champ, but she swayed and bumped Pongo's arm soon after the shots had been downed. Pongo?
Holy shit, Sage. Your girlfriend just hit on me. What do I do?
That's not what that means. It doesn't apply in the way you think it does. Athena steadied herself. Oh, my bad. That stuff hit me harder than I expected. I didn't mean to offend you. She extended a hand and looked inquisitively at Pongo, expecting him to tell her his name because they hadn't been properly introduced. Pongo did not read her expression accurately. Pongo,
Can I eat your punani now? Does it smell like wet cat food?
Starts a conversation like that.
oh my god. He really is just this socially inept. How is that possible? I wonder where Pongo is now. Jail, probably. He's not meant for polite society, you see. Somebody round him up. If he's still out there, I want him found and dealt with. Athena retracted her hand, took a sharp step backward, and narrowed her eyes. Please tell me you were joking, and if that wasn't a joke, then you better get the fuck away from me right now. Pongo,
But I thought you were flirting with me. You're so hot. You gave me a bone.
Oh my God, dude. Can we put him outside? He's not meant for interaction with the fairer sex, okay? It was then that Pongo reached up under his flop-over belly and undid his snug jeans in an attempt to relieve some of the pressure on his throbbing chode. It is a bad one, isn't it? But that action, combined with the vile things he just said, came across as threatening to both Athena and Sage. At that point, Athena dashed to the other side of the table, closer to the front door, and Sage seemed to teleport into Pongo's fetid proximity, where the mighty mage grabbed the fat slob by the collar of his edgelord muscle shirt, instantly implementing a jujitsu move known as cross-collar choke. He leaned down and growled a threat that was only audible to Pongo. The neckbeard tried to flee, but he was trapped in the grasp of a champion MMA fighter with a third-degree black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu who was now in full attack mode because he was defending his super hot new girlfriend from Pongo's own nasty words.
Shit.
I mean, this is valuable insight. He's being taught some real-world lessons right now, you know? Go ahead, choke him out. The brain cells that survive, they'll learn. Maybe. The corners of Pongo's mouth turned downward, and a muffled, bubbling sound rumbled from the backside of his ill-fitting jeans, like distant thunder getting gradually nearer. Oh, Jesus, dude. Sage hadn't seemed to notice the loaf that Pongo dropped into his pants. The enraged mage rotated his wrists and pulled Pongo upward until the blubbery dookie monster was practically standing on his rotten toes. The edgelord muscle shirt began to rip as staccato squirts of bubblin' crude ripped in Pongo's pants. Black gold! Oh, it's brown? Damn. In what seemed like a single fluid motion, Sage pushed Pongo's extra chin to the side and wrapped both hands around the thick, sparsely bearded neck. Pongo could barely choke out his words.
What the fuck, bro?
Everyone looked to Mori to break up the fight. No, it wasn't that. It was more like an attack. But Mori was just watching the spectacle with delight gleaming in his eyes. His fingers were steepled near his mouth, as though he were waiting for something even more exciting to happen. A man literally crapped his pants. What more do you want? What else can he give? So the only other tough guy in the group, Snorlax, crossed over into crappy airspace with the intention of doing whatever he could to de-escalate the situation. He decided to keep his hands off Sage out of fear of riling him up even more, so he moved to pull Pongo away from behind. But that was when Snorlax saw the butt mud oozing out of the torn collar of the edgelord muscle shirt. This is like Gigi Allen levels of edgy, isn't it? I have poop smeared on myself. How's that for Reggie? This music is cool because my mom hates it. The mud had shot straight up Pongo's back from the sheer force of the frightened ass cannon. Snorlax stood in stunned silence, transfixed by the accident that continued to spread, almost as though it were sentient. And then Snore noticed a few bean sprouts in the butt mud. Surely. Not what I would have pegged it for. A bean sprout guy, huh? He must eat a lot of bean sprouts. There was no way that Pongo ate. And then the bean sprouts began to squirm. Oh, God. You got me. It's terrible. Oh, you got me real deep. I feel the vomit. I'm sorry that we all had to experience this together, you know? I'm just as hurt as you are right now, is what I'm telling you. But as always, we brave the depths together. What are we going to do about Pongo's butt worms, his parasites? Snorlax doubled over and threw up the fireball shots that he had just downed. Yeah, I guess how could it escalate is swiftly answered. Simultaneously, the warm, squishy, squirmy butt mud made its way up to Sage's fingers, startling him and causing him to lose his grip. Pongo fell backwards onto the floor, and Sage let out a low-pitched scream when he noticed the brown residue on his fingers. That seemed to snap him out of the rage haze, and as he returned to reality, the full force of the accident invaded his olfactory senses, conjuring up images of surströmming and kimchis and the zoo. Let me assure you, nothing at the zoo is this impure, this unclean. Animals don't do this. It's only the weird hairless monkeys. It was then that the sensory processing crossed over his disgustatory senses, and he felt as though he were tasting Pongo's doo-doo. Yeah, you got parasites. We all gotta go get dewormed right now. Sage 2 doubled over and threw up all over the floor, with some of it spilling onto Pongo. Mori let out a little squeal of delight. Eee! Pongo.
Ew, you barfed on me. Gross.
Snorlax. You crapped your pants, you nasty-ass perv. Who cares if you got a little puke on your leg? Sage was seething and panting, having puked far more voluminously and violently than Snorlax had. It's the last true Zen state. Nothing to distract you, you only have one goal. Pooping used to be like that too, but then cell phones got invented. Anyway, Sage was trying to speak, but words refused to form. He spat on the floor, cleared his throat, and stormed into the kitchen to grab some water. Funky yelled at him,
"How dare you threaten my friend? I knew you were a douchebag. I oughta."
Sage rounded on Funky and took a few steps towards him. Fists clenched, eyes crazed, blood boiling. Funky ducked down and covered his head like he was in some sort of nuclear attack drill.
"Don't hit me, I was just talking shit, please."
That's what I thought, bitch. Sage hesitated, looking down at his poopy hands, and returned to the kitchen to wash up. Snorlax followed him, exclaiming at an increasingly pianissimo dynamic, Dude, don't freak out." Sage was finally calm enough to listen, and Snorlax continued in a hushed voice, "I think Pongo has worms. You gotta really scrub your hands." Still mute, Sage shuddered, nodded, and took to the sink. Mori had dashed to the bathroom to grab some antibacterial soap, which he handed over, and then Mori decided to survey the damage. Funky was sitting close to Pongo, trying to seem concerned, and he wasn't exactly offering any help or words of comfort. Mori sauntered over, one hand covering his nose and mouth, and told Pongo to get his fat ass up. Pongo,
I can't, boss. There's something slippery on the floor, and I don't feel good."
Mori, "Ah, yes, that would be shit." Yeah, you noticed that, did you? Pongo,
Crap-a-doodle. And these are my brand new clothes.
Pongo thrashed and rolled around, smearing wormy butt mud all over Mori's mommy's hardwood dining room floor. Thank God it's not carpet, dude. Until he finally weeble-wobbled his round body into a sitting position. Panting and sweating, Pongo scooched over to a chair, leaving a wide, stinking, squirming skid mark in his wake. Jesus. I don't know how much more I can take, honestly. It's just a hell of a beating today. I was warned. I prepared myself for it. I wasn't fully prepared. I thought we were past poopy things. What's worse than poop? Poop with worms in it. Where do we go from here, you know? Pongo grabbed onto the chair and shakily rose to a standing position, barely supported by the two thick, weak legs that were rendered even more useless than usual by the tight pant legs, with poo slime gradually dyeing the light blue denim a sickly shade of brown and pasting the cloth to Pongo's legs. Oh, dude, that's so nasty. He reminds me of one of those really old dogs, you know, where their back legs shake when they poo. Pongo is still panting and says,
What do I do now?
Maury, go take a shower. I'll give you some old bed sheets to wear home. Just a giant moo-moo.
He's gonna be like, man, this is actually kind of comfortable.
He's sitting bare-assed on a bar stool, just touching himself under the bed sheets.
Hey, what are you doing?
I think I'm making this even worse than it needs to be. You know what they say, if you can't beat them, join them. Pongo says,
We're not playing Shadowrun tonight. Where'd that hot girl go?
Funky the Sage.
Looks like your girlfriend ditched you, pretty boy.
Sage shot Funky the middle finger and slammed the door as he went outside in search of Athena. Now seems like a pretty good time to bail out. I don't like Shadowrun this much. Can we just spend some time with each other, you know? You don't have to be privy to any more of this, do you? But no, she really wants to be one of the boys.
Oh my God, what is that smell?
It's my poop bucket.
What the hell?
Maury then says, well, I think we're done for the night, Pongo. You just go clean yourself up. Accidents happen. As Pongo turned and waddled toward the bathroom, chunky, dark brown gravy dripped from his pant legs. Oh, God. Perhaps fittingly, it did look like wet cat food. He squeezed through the door and closed it behind him. Snorlax could hear cursing, clanging, and banging as Pongo presumably tried and failed to remove his jeans. Yeah, this is gonna have to be a surgery. Y'all got scissors? Eventually, Pongo did call out for help. Funky, his supposed champion and mentor, wanted nothing to do with Mr. Shitty Britches. Snorlax was the only one so far who'd witnessed the worms, so he wasn't touching that. Sage had gone after Athena, so Maury got to step up and accept some less than pleasant responsibilities. The type of responsibilities that come with leadership. Yep, can't become a decent cult leader if you don't wipe a morbidly obese man's poopy wormy butt.
Disgusting!
You just gotta show us that you really want it, you know? Maury cracked the door open and said, what is it now, Pongo? Pongo,
I can't get my pants off.
Oh, God. Maury sighed. Stand still. Maury took a deep breath in preparation to refrain from breathing, grabbed the waistband of Pongo's jeans, and was able to nudge them down over the jiggly flesh. He couldn't ignore the fact that the hair on Pongo's legs was partially caked with crap. The fat folds had trapped a good deal of the accident as well. God, dude. And Pongo's pale, doughy skin partially engulfed some ripe, chunky butt chocolate, making him look almost like a living pastry display. Don't eat that. Don't put that in your mouth. Don't eat that! And then Maury saw a worm fall out of the diarrhea denim as he nudged the increasingly ill-fitting jeans past Pongo's knees. Maury recoiled. What the fuck is that? The GM screeched. Pongo.
Huh? Oh, yeah. I took a pill a long time ago that was supposed to make me lose weight, but it just gave me white squiggles in my poop.
How are you this tense? Maury backed towards the door in a rare instance of genuine disgust. He's had worms and he still manages to stay that big? He must be packing it away. No wonder he poops so much. This story is such a wild ride, dude. Pongo says,
Hey, hold up, dude. How am I supposed to clean all this off me? I can't reach my ass crack.
God, how did I know? Usually I love what I call it, but I hate it in this instance. Maury says, well, Funky and I have no reasons to keep rags on sticks around. I suggest you run a bath and sit down. Pongo,
How do I run a bath?
Maury, oh, for fuck's sake. He's a child. Is he disabled in some way? Should we be laughing at this? It's the grown man covered in his own poop. Doesn't know what it takes to turn on a bathtub. But yeah, Maury turns the appropriate knobs and graciously offers to help Pongo undress and get into the tub. More than I would have done, dude. I'd be like, I got it started. You figure the rest of it out on your own, okay? Pongo says,
No way! I'm not getting dressed in front of you. You're a flaming gaylord. I don't want you looking at my package.
yeah, your little nutty buddy down there. Maury, Pongo, I can't even tell what kind of underwear you're wearing because that gut completely covers your groin as well as your upper thighs. And even if you had the most elegant cock in all of creation, which I'm certain you don't, I wouldn't be drawn to it. I just peeled your shitty, wormy jeans off. I'd find you positively repulsive. Yeah, this is Pongo trying to retain his last shred of dignity. Give up on it. That's not a fit for you, okay? I guess Pongo agreed because he grunts, takes off his gargantuan, crap-covered frowny brownies and threw them in the crappy clothes pile. Maury made him wipe his hands on a wet, soapy washcloth before allowing Pongo to hold onto his shoulder to climb into the bathtub. God, he must really be a big boy. How can you really live with a lack of mobility like this? Whatever. You hate yourself, I get it. As Pongo was cleaning his hands the best he could, Maury noticed that Pongo was still wearing a pair of dingy socks that were crusted with yellow, green, and black crud by the toes on both feet. Maury gagged again. Oh my god, dude, don't take it off. There's gangrene. His whole foot's gonna fall apart. This is awful. Maury, do you need help taking your socks off? Pongo.
Huh? No, I always leave them on. It hurts to pull on them.
Oh my god. Oh my god, dude. It's become a part of him. I swear that's the only thing holding his fucking foot together. You're gonna get sepsis. We'll pull it off real quick like a band-aid, and then once your foot falls off, you can get some really cool prosthesis or something. Maury then informs Pongo, you desperately need a podiatrist or a dermatologist. Likely both. I think your infected feet may have fused with your socks. You probably need surgery. With what money, Maury? Healthcare's expensive. Just let the sock fuse to my feet. This might be the next step of evolution. Pongo just grunts dismissively and grips Maury's shoulder as he lumbered gracelessly into the bathtub. Once Pongo had squeezed himself into the narrow confines of the tub, Maury fetched the antibacterial soap from the kitchen, ordered Pongo to use the whole bottle, and then closed the bathroom door on the portly pants pooper. You're gonna have a brown ring around the tub, and it's not just body dirt. That battle has only just begun. But back in the dining room, Maury surveys the damage. At ground zero, there were thick piles of butt mud. A short, wide trail led to a chair with two fat crap handprints on the seat, and then there was a longer trail of smaller shit slicks leading past Maury's bedroom and all the way to the bathroom at the end of the hall. This is a disaster. You should have kicked him out the front door and hosed him off, you know? The floor wasn't exactly crawling with worms, but Maury had definitely spotted more than one white squiggle amidst the doo-doo. This was too much for the suddenly prissy GM. Oh, we did find the line, didn't we? Parasites is the line. Maury would call a hazmat crew as soon as Pongo emerged from the bathroom, and then he would stay in a cushy hotel until he was certain that the townhouse had been dewormed. I really do aspire to that level of luxury. My house is covered in poop and I pay somebody to clean it up, but also get to stay at a plush hotel so I don't have to make eye contact with the woman who has to clean the poop. Because I'd feel really bad about that. I'd be like, I'm so sorry. It's not mine, if that makes you feel better. Maury wandered outside to find Snorlax puffing fervently on a J. Maury sat down, accepted the pass, and took quite a few of his own puffs. They sat in silence, lost in the headlights and taillights that twinkled in the street. At last, Maury turned to Snorlax and asked where Sage had gone. Snorlax, he left with Athena. I don't know if they'll be back. Dude, yes, again! Called it! It's exactly what I would have done. No way I'm trying to convince her to go back in there. Probably never. I'd never bring it up again. My girlfriend doesn't want to play with us guys. Maury says, they will be back because Pongo's not welcome here anymore after tonight. Snorlax, what about Funky? Maury, he's done nothing wrong. He's still on the team. Snorlax, no, I mean, where is he? Maury glanced around. Not sure. In his room, I suppose? I bought him a new toy this last week and he really seems to like it. Yeah, toys are nice. I hope it's an erector set. Snorlax nodded, thinking that Maury meant like a literal child's toy, like a Lego set or an action figure. That's what I presumed too. Snorlax was still under the impression that Funky was intellectually disabled, because Funky had told him upon their first meeting that he had, quote,
an exceptionally unique brain that people with regular IQs couldn't possibly understand.
Yeah, that is one way to interpret it. So as Funky presumably went to town on his flashlight with an E, Snorlax and Maury proceeded to get utterly baked and time ceased to make sense. But Maury began to hear the sound of water and he snapped back to reality and dashed inside to find a thin layer of wormy poo water all over the first floor of the townhouse. Oh my god. Can we shoot him now? He didn't even turn the tub off. He's just like, I don't know how to do it. I guess I better not. There's probably a drain in the floor or something. It's fine. Just the worst aspects of humanity. The dining room did seem to contain the worst of it, as a putrid swirl of poopy, wormy, pukey water churned beneath the table. This is so heavy. Maury sloshed down the hall, opened the door, and found Pongo flailing about in the bathtub as the tainted water trickled over the sides of the tub. Pongo's crappy clothes were floating atop said poo water, surrounded by a brown, somewhat squiggly aura. Maury, what the actual fuck? Pongo,
I'm sorry, boss. I can't reach the knobs to turn off the water. You were gone for a really long time, dude.
Did you call out for anybody, or did you just sit there as the room filled with water? I didn't think we'd meet anybody more hateable than Funky, but yeah, Pongo is it. Part of me wants to feel bad because he clearly hasn't been socialized properly, but at a certain point we just have to accept that, yeah, there's no fixing this. Ultimately, Maury had to call the paramedics to come hoist Pongo's fat ass out of the tub. They went ahead and took him to the hospital, and that is when they saw the condition of his feet and learned of the worms. Funky came downstairs to wish his fat friend a speedy recovery, then he retreated to his room with a bottle of Jack Daniels. Snorlax had stuck around because he could tell that Maury was uncharacteristically rattled, and since they were both sort of too stoned to drive, Moore and Snore shared an Uber that dropped Snorlax off at home and dropped Maury off downtown at a posh hotel. Funky was left all alone in the poopy townhouse with only dying worms and his new special flashlight for company. See what I mean? Maury cares, but just enough. I guess I can't blame him. Funky's the one that brought Pongo over, so some of the responsibility is on his shoulders, yes. OP says, okay, there's got to be one more part. It would sound even grosser than this part if I teased it, but it's kind of a womp womp. No, don't say that. What the hell are you doing? You can't say that. You got to put a twist on it. You'd be like, it's an ending you'll never expect. Yeah, because it's disappointing. But you don't say that part. This is marketing. As in, Maury thinks it's going to be gloriously debauched and totally epic, but a wise man often says that the expectation is probably better than the reality. Even so, I hope you'll take a ride through one more installment of Deep Shadowrun lore with me. Yes, absolutely, I'm in for it. I don't think we'll get in trouble for this one. Then again, you never know. Terms and conditions, they're always changing. But I haven't felt that viscerally sick during a video since, like, Chris Trucker. There's other things that make me sick, but it's like rage sick, you know? Doesn't matter. Anyways, I'm gonna link Chris Trucker on the end card for you. Amazing series, highly recommended. And I hope you guys will like, comment, subscribe on the video if you enjoyed it. We got the Patreon, the YouTube channel memberships. They're open. You can join us. I'd love it if you did. And if you can't, well, that's okay. You listened this far, and that's huge. Lastly, I would like to remind you, friends, that you are loved, you are worthy, you definitely deserve it, and I shall see you in the next one, so until then, bye-bye. Go ahead and cut them open. It's gonna be fine, it's gonna be fine! Promise, swears he